have to tie Max outside now because he headed off on the dart there about 2 weeks ago by himself. He normally waits outside, my dog, but he decided he was bored, and I got a phone call when I came out that he was in Glenageary on the dart heading into Dublin.
You are kidding me.
By himself. There you go. Now we should say we showed your short remains just in support of the great Thomas Reid film. I was just becoming aware of your work. You've been since 2010 now. You've been sort of in the world of filmmaking, and it's pretty much a lifelong dream finally kind of happening in your 50s.
Lifelong dream's a bit strong.
Okay.
Film's a lifelong interest.
Right.
I started, to be honest, when the kids finally grew up and were less dependent, I started making films, yeah.
Right.
And obviously driven by the fact that the price of cameras and editing software is so much more affordable, so you can do it. So you've got no excuse not to have a go, and I've always loved movies, so I started. I'm a latecomer, so I treat it like my film school. I've just about graduated.
Hey, well, you did say that you in 2010 on your blog you mentioned the fact that you had a desktop full of unfinished scripts and ideas and all that, and that spark, as much as the DIY world is a lot more accessible now with thanks to digital, but was there a particular spark that made you think, that's it, I'm finally going to start making short films?
Well, I've been chewing stories over forever, and it was just time. It really is time. My kids at that point were probably about 15. They've got the teenage years, so they were less dependent. So it was almost like it sort of carried on from when I was in my 30s. It was like I had this big gap in the middle where everything stopped, where I was raising the family.
Damn kids!
And then it's kind of renewed, sort of business as usual. But yeah, of course, you're older and a bit wiser, and obviously the tone of the films have changed. They're all about, funny enough, middle-aged men. So that's another kind of byproduct of starting later, I guess.
Now we should mention the short films, Nothing Nowhere. There's the regular tribesman. You've got Remains, and now you've got your latest film, Tired of Dancing.
Yes.
Are these kind of even though it is a lot cheaper now to make films, I mean, is each one like a major kind of journey into the darkness, or is it getting easier?
Well, it certainly gets easier. You get better at it. What I did, if you look, the shorts I've made so far, there's 5 of them. They've each been a different genre. Well, I'm trying to find my voice, if you like, what kind of film I want to make. So I made a comedy. I made a kind of a more moody sort of Remains was a bit more sort of drama. Right. I made a thriller, Nothing Nowhere, and this new one is kind of a rom-com with a bit of music in it. So really, as I say, I sort of see it as my own film school, and I just put myself through a kind of test of trying these different genres, see how they work out, and see if I can find the one that I'm good at. I think I'm there. I think I know what I want to do now. Yeah. That
goal always with the short, people are making shorts, and Jake McCone and a few others in town are in the same boat, where they obviously have the idea of for a feature, and that's really the ultimate goal. Yeah. So you see Tired of Dancing, which we should say is 30 minutes. So it's the longer of the 25 minutes. So it's longer than the other shorts. This is, you sort of see like the first part of the jigsaw of that feature that you've always wanted to make.
Specific. That's the first act in the movie.
Right.
So that's the first act. So it's a 3-act film. All films are, and it's all set at this same location, which is a festival in the UK, which I've got access to. So my pitch to financiers is going to be, this is a cheap, accessible location. In 21 days, we could shoot a movie. We shot the first 25 minutes in 2.5 days. So give me some money, and so I'm writing the script. I'm finishing the script, and then I'm going out to. I'll try the Irish Film Board, or Screen Island, as they're now called. I'll try UK Film Council. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to finish the script and see what the audience think when it's screening in your club. See if anyone laughs. And then I'm going to write the script and try and get some funding.
So given that it is in the town where you grew up in England, and you've mentioned before now to me that a lot of Irish cast and crew and people involved in it, but I don't know if there's any sort of autobiographical sense about it, whether there's just things you're tipping on because of, you just know this world.
I was in a band, so it's about this kind of washed up rock star. I was never a rock star, but I was in a band. So I could kind of relate to, and some of that is quite funny, especially as you get older. So that was a rich mind to kind of dig into. So there's a bit of that in there, absolutely true. Yeah, and also it's a very particular part of Lincolnshire, middle of nowhere really, and that sort of inspired it a little bit as well. It's sort of real Brexit country.
Nice. And what's the festival there? Is it?
It's just a small. It's just friends started it really.
Okay.
But they get about 500 people on this little kind of farmhouse area.
Nice.
It's a lovely setup, and I've been there just for the hell of it, and I thought this would be a great location for a film. Let's see if I can think of a story for it.
Boom. Now you mentioned your band, Still Life. And you did say you're on the same label as Hazy Fantasia. I do have the 7-inch of John Wayne's Big Leggy at home somewhere. I always thought that girl Kate.
Nearly as old as me.
I think I am. I think that girl Kate was always something special too. She was the right balance of sort of 2IA Dixies with Zig Zig Sputnik and all that.
Well, they lasted about 5 minutes.
There you go.
Mind you, to be fair, that's 4 minutes longer than me.
But was it when you've got a record label deal and you're releasing and all that? Obviously, the dream is quite potentially real there. I'm sure they were happy memories.
Well, again, I'm not sort of big on dreams. It's actually very pragmatic. It was a mate of mine. The same songs featured in the film, actually. We just really enjoyed songwriting.
Right.
And Tired of Dancing is one of our songs from that era.
Nice.
Which is that was the song that got us a record deal. Actually, it's probably the best song we ever wrote. So I'm still milking it, really.
Good man.
Of course, if you're making a film about a festival, if you've got no budget, it's a nightmare because you have to pay a fortune for copyright of songs unless you've got your own.
Right.
So that made it possible. This is how you have to think if you're a guerrilla filmmaker. How do I do it cheaply and legally, mostly?
I suppose cinema has got some great, beautiful losers, especially when it comes to those in the art world who didn't quite make it, whether it's Whitnale or Well, I'm just thinking whether that was there was reference points.
Are you calling me a beautiful loser?
I wouldn't go so far as beautiful, but
thank you very much.
But I'm wondering if there were certain reference points cinematically that you were kind of in that world and you felt these are nice kind of sort of buzz films that sort of maybe help you to sort of get into the mindset of Tired of Dancing, or
it was more just I was thinking of kind of Richard Curtis type films. But again, this was about experimenting with different genres, and I wanted to do a rom-com. I'm not a huge rom-com fan, but I thought, how do you do it? So it's very much a practical exercise of sitting down, thinking of a story and writing one, and that was more the idea, really. But obviously drawing on your experience wherever you can. You have to do that for everything, though, don't you?
Sure. If you're aiming for Richard Curtis now, there has to be 10 hugs per every...
Yeah, I don't know. I already wish I hadn't said Richard Curtis. Although the new one looks amazing. You see that yesterday, the Beatles one.
And he's very happy to step away from the commercial pressure of because critics never particularly were fond of his work, even though Love Actually has come around to be a classic of sorts for other people.
Christmas classic now, isn't it?
Yeah, but he kind of recognises that he's not a critic's darling, so I think he's happily out of that sort of arena now. So that's I'm sure
the new one looks great.
Yeah,
you've seen the trailer.
Yeah, it looks really good.
The Beatles one, yeah.
So tell me, just to wrap up, when it comes to your own particular kind of filmmaking, are you, I don't know whether because you're trying all these different genres, are you sort of keen to always do that's your kind of motivations, that you want to try different clothes on?
No, I've landed on what it is now. I think it's sort of quite. It's a bit Coen Brothers-y, a bit Martin McDonagh-y. It's that kind of edge and humour, but Irish English settings perhaps.
Right.
So with a good narrative, bit of a thriller element, but a few laughs along the way. Quite a dark edge to it. So I know I've got a couple of scripts on the go that I know I know what I want to do now. So it took a long time, but I know what I'm trying to do, and I think I'm getting better at it. So we'll see what happens.
Rock and roll. Well, we'll put the link in for people, and we'll link also to your own blog and just let people know. I did mention 4 of your shorts. What was the 5th one I missed? I mentioned there's The Regular Tribesman, there's Nothing Nowhere, Remains, Tired of Dancing.
Tiger. Interestingly enough, which you judged to be not very good at the film festival. What was that? Was it you? You were one of the judges, weren't you, at the Arts Council, the Arts Group in Bray?
Oh no, I wasn't.
Was it you?
I don't think so.
I thought it was a film critic. I thought it was you.
Well, maybe. I don't remember. When was this?
About 5 years ago. It was my Celtic Tiger short film. I thought it was.
I think I would have remembered that. Yeah.
What the hell was it called?
Was it any good though? Just in case, maybe I would.
No, it wasn't. You're right.